Well, we're here, and for the first time ever, we've got direct sunlight on us.
I mean, it's not.
Well, not
fully,
you, I guess.
It's not fully direct.
But it's me. You know why? Because I'm shining from the inside out. Because I had just had a gig.
And it's Valentine's Day with the day that we record.
Happy Valentine's Day. I love you, sister.
Love you too, sister.
I spent Valentine's at work with my sister, to which then she quickly left because she had a social commitment, which I think that's part of discussion later on. But regardless, we spent Valentine's Day together.
We did.
And tonight we're not gonna spend Valentine's night together.
We're not.
But this afternoon we are.
I have plans. No. I've been wearing red. I'm wearing my little Valentine's sweater.
Yeah, please, for like the people who are not visual learners, if you want to describe your look.
If you wanna, I'm wearing just a beautiful vintage sweater that's navy blue, white, and red, and has like hearts on it and like roses and stuff. It's very comfy and cozy. I thrifted it like a couple years ago. But the last couple of days I've been wearing red, because I've just been feeling very much in the romantic Valentine's mood. And our coworker yesterday, who Peru likes to joke, anytime that this girl looks at him in the eye, he like feels a certain kind of way. But she,
let's talk about. Well, first of all, I'm Pioneer Peru.
I'm Trailblazer Nick,
and this is Pioneers and Trailblazers. And I don't know, y'all, gay townspeople, like male, I guess, presenting gays specifically, because I have this, and this is not meant to be patting myself on the back. It's just more like an objective commentary. So,
Clover's in.
That shocked me. How did you break in?
I have no idea.
Clover said, "I'm breaking into the room."
And now he's in the middle between the two of us.
Well, he can sniff.
Well, because he knows that you've got those babies in your booty.
What's been happening literally in the last 30 minutes. Okay.
He said my mommy's a whore.
I want to just stall for like 30 seconds while I close the door.
Sure. While we kick out. Well, not you deporting your child. You're casting him out. Wait, what were we talking about? Oh, yes. So I've just been wearing a lot of red. I've been feeling it. And you gay townsperson.
Okay, so gay townspeople. I don't know if you have this thing with any like either like female Clover. Jesus, he's being so needy today.
Desperate to be inside.
Desperate to be. He's like, it's Valentine's Day. Why are you excluding me?
He said, "Where's the love?
Where's the love?
Where's
the love?"
Okay, I hate that.
Wow, we're both the same kind of horrible. Actually, that
I know
proves it.
the energy today. I'm like really. I don't know. I've never seen.
Let me finish my thought.
Sorry, yeah. I was just gonna say, yeah. Keep going.
No, but I agree with the energy. Love you. And so I was saying, when you have like either a girl who's a girl friend, or a girl that you know through an acquaintance, or just a random woman that you may meet as a gay person, as a gay man. And sometimes, like, even as gay as I am, because there are some other gays who are like, I'd fuck a girl, There are some...
I mean, listen, sexuality is a spectrum.
Which, of course, I'm like, cool, both of us are on the tail end of that spectrum, where, like, neither of us would ever do that with a girly pop.
Unfortunately, no. And I'm a platinum star. I've never even touched my own mom's vagina.
Oh, me neither. I'm a C-section baby.
Yeah.
That's going to be on the trivia, for the townspeople in a year from now, like, what kind of star are Nick in Peru? But... they're
bright and shining.
Okay.
Talented. Sorry.
Okay. Hot.
Okay, that's pushing it. Let's move on.
But then it always happens where like I meet a girl and they either have like alpha energy that just makes me like feel uncomfortable, but not because I don't. It's just uncomfortable because I'm like, it makes me feel some kind of way about them, and I'm like,
You've
wait,
met your match. You're getting a taste of your own medicine.
But almost like it's like I'm being baited by an alpha woman, female, alpha woman, alpha woman, alpha female, because this girl at work, and this happened to me with this. I had this old GM at this place called Tipsy Parsons that's no longer existing in Chelsea.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace. But I used to be a maitre d' there, and the GM there was her. The AGM was a girl named Wendy. Now, Wendy was a lipstick lesbian, but let me tell you, lipstick lesbian, you remember that episode of Sex and the City with the lipstick lesbians? It's like season 2 or something.
I'm sure I do. The one with Charlotte, and then she like wants to join them. And then they're like, if you don't eat pussy,
exactly, you get the fuck out of here. Yeah. Which, by the way, is like the first 10 minutes, and we're already cussing. I'm gonna have to bleep those for the algorithms. So
is that how it is? Is that how it works?
Yeah, so like the first 10 minutes, if like the YouTube tracks if in the first 10 minutes you like are cussing or saying sensitive content, the too sensitive.
We're talking about a kitty. What if we're talking about pussies as in
Okay,
cats?
I'm gonna have to. Well, you're gonna have to fucking bleep all this by the way because you're editing. So
Oh, I have to bleep.
just do it for the first 10 minutes, and then after that we can whatever. Anyway, so Wendy,
Stay tuned to see if it happens.
stay tuned to see if anything was bleeped. Well, clearly you didn't bleep your hawk to us from last episode, which I had to go on my personal account and comment on the YouTube video.
And the way that nobody else commented on it.
I
'cause
know.
they
I pinned it
understood.
and like nobody liked
no one
it.
cared.
I'm like, I care. Anyway,
yeah, because you're a hater.
whatever. So you know, like the whole like lipstick lesbian thing is coming back because of the newest like Calvin Klein collection is very much apropos to like lipstick lesbian or like suited up lesbian kind of vibes core. Anyway,
Well, I thought a lipstick lesbian was just like a feminine lesbian.
I guess they look feminine, but they're like there's also power lesbians. You know, it's like I guess lipstick
There's
is
different. It's like how like there's otters and twinks.
right. So then let me tell you, Wendy was not only a lipstick lesbian, but she was also a power suit lesbian.
Was
So
she butch or
no,
no?
she was
femme?
she was femme. Always wore a red lipstick. Had a bob to here.
Oh, not the bobs.
But
severe.
but you just picture, you know, this is the woman. This is the most perfect woman to rock a lob, like the one.
Your bob is fine.
Yeah, and like she.
Huh? Your bob is fine. Have you seen that video?
No.
Oh.
The energy now off. But anyway,
The townspeople will know.
okay, comment down below. But please comment, please. We need you to start commenting more. Anyway, so Wendy was so sexy. And when I first met her, not only was she like powerful bitch, because she would always wear this like same kind of cut, like 2-piece suit. It would be gray or black or navy, but it was like the same cut with the same fucking like Louboutin heels. Like she would just fucking rock it out. And then lo and behold, my big surprise when I first started working with her was that she was a lesbian. And I was like, wow, she's like a power suit lipstick lesbian. Anytime she would come up to me at the host stand, something about her energy, and she was also like 6'1". You know, I'm like Speedy Gonzalez, like I'm tiny. So sometimes people will get that. Please don't date me. Anyway.
Okay, moving on.
So she would stand next to me, and she like, you're me at the hosting, and I'm her. Okay, so I'm coming up to you, and you just do that.
you.
Yeah.
I'm Peru.
Is that your impression of me?
Today it is.
Hey, we're doing mommy juice today too. Oh wait, cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers, mommy juice. It's my first mommy juice of the season, actually.
Is it?
Yeah, it's
No,
up-
we did a mommy juice last episode.
Did we?
Yeah.
Oh, you're so right. We did
Because
one.
I edited the video, so I remember.
So anyway, so you're there, and she would come up to me, and she would be like literally like this. She would like sidestep into the host stand, and she'd be like, "Hey, Peru," and I would just look at her, and her alpha energy would like. There was a couple of times where like my penis felt a little tingling, but not from being turned on, but just from like the energy. Like it was almost like an animal response, like you know, like
my
it was like what's
God.
happening? And she would always be like, Peru, has anyone told you like you're so beautiful? Like you're and then there were moments in which I'm not even making this up.
I had a lesbian pull that on me a couple weeks ago.
Oh my God, tell me about it. Because when did we be like, well, I mean, we would be talking about like, say like skincare. And then she would be like, well, I mean, your skin is flawless. So it's not that this is kind of crazy. Like I'm talking about me, not you, because you're absolutely beautiful. But anyway, and she would catch herself like actually like she would get uncomfortable, and then I would get uncomfortable. I'm like, is this lesbian hitting on me? Title of ep. Is this lesbian hitting on me? And so, guess what the big boom reveal was? I finally get to meet her wife.
Oh.
Mama, when I tell you, there is
You
at
a
least
woman?
there is at least one person out there that is the woman version of Peru.
And that was her.
Short, Latina, same haircut I had at that time, same. It was
so
me.
her girlfriend was Butch?
Yes.
Okay.
And then when I met the fucking wife, what you call me Butch? Wow.
Well, I'm saying if she has your haircut.
Oh, guess yeah. Okay, that's true. That's true.
If she has a fade.
Oh yeah, yeah.
If she has a Alberto and gets a full fade, yeah, I would assume that she's probably a little Butch.
Yeah. Trust and believe she was. And then I was like, oh my God, I remind her of her wife.
That's
and when I
crazy.
met the wife afterwards, thing it was like the big reveal, because then when it would be like, well, you've met my wife, like you, and she's like, you know, I like them short, and she would like look me up and down, and I'm like, would be so like, same energy I get from this new host that we have at work because not that she's laying it out thick like that, like Wendy was, because Wendy literally wanted to fuck me, like she wanted to peg me, but this host,
Okay.
this host at work is very much like, well, you got this. Like, stop. Like, you look so beautiful today. Like, she's always very much, but she like has this. She has big eyes, right? And she's very like intently when she's looking at you. And I always like sometimes I need to walk away. I'm like,
You're like, stop, I'm feeling something. No, but she came in yesterday and she was like, wait, she's like, you look so good today. And I was like, wait, stop. And she's like, red's your color. And I was like, stop, red's my favorite color. And she was like, shut up. She's like, it's my favorite color too. She goes, and whenever I see someone wearing red and they look really good, I have to let them know. And I was like, thank you. And I did look really good yesterday. That outfit, that's a killer one.
not one of my favorites of yours, but I do.
The girlies love when I just wear the little cardigan with nothing underneath.
But then, it's just like society telling you to wear less.
But it's like chic. It's very just like chic. For
You
those who
thought that's what it
don't,
was chic?
I'm gonna describe. I was wearing a beautiful vintage, just red cardigan that's from Sears, from like the 70s, 80s, and I like wore like a little tank top underneath, but like it looked like.
But there was no tank top. You weren't wearing anything underneath.
I was, but you couldn't tell.
You were?
'Cause I'm wearing, yeah.
You needed like some. It
A
was too
jewelry.
bare on your chest.
Okay.
I felt.
We took. Okay. Well,
No, but you were also like you were not like going out. Like I'm
I
sure.
was giving cash. And
You were,
then I
it was
wearing-
it was very
And then I was
cash. It
wearing
was
a pair
cash.
of wide leg Levi jeans that I thrifted, that are vintage, that I really like.
Yeah, no, I did like the look. I felt like if you were to take that look out, or if you were to get like photo opt in that look, you would need a long necklace or
Sure.
something to like balance out the emptiness
I
on
feel
your
like I was
neck.
giving like model off duty, like Dakota Johnson.
Well,
just
girl,
like walking around.
New York Fashion Week just ended famously a couple days ago, and then our restaurant establishment place of work is known to have like a lot of like fashion-y people come in after their gigs.
No, I didn't
And
even
of course, like my
realize.
body dysmorphia kicked in so high fucking the last few days, girl, because I would see these models coming in, and I'm like, I'm your equal.
Yeah,
I'm just like you.
I'm a size 0.
Yeah, there's like 18-year-old Ukrainian and freaking
Who's,
like,
like, 6
South
foot.
African like 6 foot like 60-pound girly pops. They're like, we're just here for drinks, and I'm like, yeah, with sugar. What kind of drinks are you eating? You fucking fat bitch.
Wow. Okay.
No, just kidding. That just came out wrong. I
Yeah,
was
no,
like,
she's projecting. she has thoughts. No, but you talking about the girl from work just made me think of. I don't know if I mentioned this when we were talking about the wedding a couple weeks ago, but there was a lesbian that hit on me. Did I tell you this?
yes.
Did I talk about it in the pod?
Yep, yeah, but you didn't. I don't think you said it was a lesbian. I thought you said it was just like the gay guy, the only one gay guy that was there, and then you were like,
Oh no,
trying
no.
to-
Oh no, this is different. So
oh,
because there's this girl that I went to college with that I'm like friends with, and like very much like I'll just see her at like different events and stuff, and we'll catch up and stuff, and she's very funny, great, but a lesbian, and I've like her and I are like very like. Because she's a comedian too, so she like, the conversation back and forth is very just kind of like we're bantering, like doing bits sort of thing. And so when I went to my friend's wedding like 2 weeks ago, we were getting ready to leave, and she was smoking a cigarette outside, and she's like, "Will you stand with me outside while I smoke?" And I said, "Yeah, sure." Like we're waiting for like our Ubers or whatever. And when we were talking outside, she just kept interrupting in the middle of the conversation. We'd be talking about something, and all of a sudden she'd just look at me and go, "Sorry, but like, you're so beautiful." And I would be like, "Oh."
I kept laughing at that.
I was like, "Thank you." And then she'd be like, "Sorry, like I don't mean to objectify you, but like I'm sorry, like I lost my train of thought." And I was like, "No, okay, thanks." And then we'd be talking or whatever, and all of a sudden it'd be like, "Wait, no, but like you look so good. Like you look so good." And I'd be like, and she'd be like, "I'm so sorry." And I'm like, "Girl," I was like, "Please, no one's telling me this. Like keep going." But then as it went on, I went, "Oh, I think she's like
Laying
she's,
it out.
She's like genuinely," because then she was like telling me about this like date that she recently went on with like a trans woman, and she was just like, "Yeah, it was like a new experience for me," and was like, she's like, and I was like, "What are you?"
Was she doing this head turns and twists?
No,
when
she was like,
talking
she
to
was
you?
like looking at me when she was like smoking. She was like looking at me in my eye, and she was just like, "Yeah," she's
like Janine Garofalo vibes. That kind of like.
kind of, yeah. And she'd be like, "But what about you? You been on any dates recently?" And I was like,
You're like
I was like, "Oh, no."
that's
But yeah, but I was like, and then after the fact, I was like talking about it with my friends who got married. I went over to their place last week, and they made me like dinner, and we were debriefing the wedding and stuff, and they were like, I was like telling them the story, and they went, Yeah, it does seem like she was. Does seem like she was like trying to flirt with you, like trying. And I was like, I don't know what is in the air, but everyone's trying to take me home.
Well, the thing about stuff like that, and again, that's part of me being like, um, on the Patreon last week, we went on a deep discussion about like the Carlos Sofia Gascon of it all, and like cancel culture and just inappropriate commentary, or like being we really went deep.
How does this relate to me being gorgeous and beautiful?
Because I'm about to tell you, you're not. No, but when there's a culture now, of course, of and this I'm only trying to apply to us queer people or non-white or non-straight cis men. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Because now the whole commentary, of course, is like, well, we're as a straight guy, it's kind of hard to know now when you can hit up on a girl, and like you don't know when you're being inappropriate, like how are we supposed to flirt nowadays when we can't even know when if we're flirting that they're gonna take it the wrong way and then think we're harassing them when we just want to compliment, and like.
I mean, there's a way to go about it. That's not harassment.
Well, no. This is what I'm saying. I'm removing.
Men take notes.
Cis straight men take note. But what I'm saying is, now
some gay men too.
No. See, here's
some gay men come out the gate.
That's me.
Yeah, so, coming out the gate being like, "You want to see my hall?"
Yeah, but here's the thing. I'm just gonna say, and I believe this firmly, and you all can, I've said so many things on here. You cannot cancel me. Like, I'm free with my speech, and I'm here coming from a place of just like wanting to learn, like.
I'm free with my speech.
That's gonna be the merch. I'm free with my speech.
Well, girl,
it honestly sounds like
Miss Trump's trying to take that away from especially the Associated
Press. Of course,
did you see they're being barred?
Of course, they already got barred. But it's hilarious though. Like, imagine like people like the Trumpers find that shirt. I'm free with my speech, thinking it's like some like anti-woke like.
But it's about getting your whole.
But it's us.
Yeah.
Wait, we have something in there. Wait, sister. Okay.
Stay tuned for merch.
Wait, I'm free with my speech. Sounds kind of. Wait. Okay, I'm coining it. With you said you were coining it. I gotta write this down. It's a good idea, I think. What do y'all think? Is it a fun idea to like do something that like low key is not about what they think it is?
Right, and we're gonna pander to them.
I'm free with my speech.
Okay, wait.
If anything, the title of the episode should be like "I'm free with my speech," so anybody who's looking up freedom of speech can find this video.
But I'm sorry. So you're saying
so the rules for straight cis men, primarily white, although I don't really want to seclude Latinos or black people, because I know from my Latino culture, the straight Latinos are completely deranged when it comes to hitting on girls and hitting them. Let's be real. But well, I can say it because it's true.
And that's the patriarchy.
Unfortunately, it's a patriarchy.
Masculinity
but
as a person.
Now, when it comes to queer culture, I feel like some of these girly poppies, diva-licious girls, are taking it a little too far. Just as an example, what you just described. Like, the idea that this person can lay it out so thick, but then they have to, like, watch themselves and be like, oh, I'm so sorry. Like, I understand, like, a coy, like, I'm so sorry, like, I'm coming on too strong. That's cute, right? But,
yeah.
But I have heard in conversation with queer people, primarily in Brooklyn, never in Hell's Kitchen. I'll tell you that much.
Well, that's a whole different environment altogether.
But in Brooklyn, I hear in conversation, is it okay if I tell you that? Is it okay if I tell you that you're beautiful? Is it okay if I tell you that you look really good? I'm like, girl, like,
No,
that's too much.
No, but I understand.
We're in New York City, the place to meet people out at bars and like, whatever happened to making a move with somebody and be like, hey, just like, I think you look really sexy tonight, or like, just like, I think you're beautiful.
No, I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but I also don't.
It kills the vibe when you're like, is it okay if I tell you that you look good? I'm like, yeah, it's okay. I want you to tell me.
No, but I think it's the way that you go about it. It's not like,
you know what I'm talking about. Though.
Like
These girls,
if you're confident about it and you're like, is it okay?
Queer they thems are always being like, is it okay if I give you a compliment? I'm like, shut the fuck up.
No,
but go see if it's raining.
No, but I appreciate because sometimes if I'm having a conversation with somebody and like it's very clear that maybe like I'm not interested or like whatever or like
that's different.
No, but I feel like even then I think sometimes people just want to like shoot their shot and like they maybe are already feeling the vibe is not going in the direction maybe that they want it to, but they still want to see like, okay, well let me just give kind of like a one last ditch thing and be like, hey, is it okay? Like, I think like you're really like attractive. Is that okay that I say that? I just like test the waters and like get it. Like you you're coming from it as a perspective of like a gay man and like a man's flirting with you. I feel like girls flirt a lot differently, and like specifically like
We discussed that last week too, but what I mean is like there is, I guess the argument I'm making for is there isn't anything wrong with being bold.
no, but I think people, we live in a culture, and I think a lot of it has to do with probably the presence of the internet and like our phones and being so connected with people, just like not seeing them face to face and like messaging them and like texting and whatever. I feel like when you're actually like around people, sometimes the added eye contact, body language, all of that can be a lot, and it can be a little bit overwhelming. And so sometimes it may feel like, oh God, like I don't want to be rejected in like, versus like being rejected over text or something. If someone tries to like be flirty and like say whatever, it's a much easier thing, I feel, to be rejected in that way, because then you can process that on your own alone if you're like you're home in like bed or something, versus like you're out in public with the person face to face. You are bold, you make a big move, it gets shut down. That can feel very, I don't know, like it can feel very,
The thing is, I think we may be talking about two different stages of that. I'm talking about the stage of doing it. You're talking about the stage of post, you know? Post is like, oh, you can feel uncomfortable. You can see where somebody could be like afraid to
yeah,
make a
but
move.
I get,
but in
but
general,
I think a lot of sometimes I think people are considering that before they make a move, being like, oh, well, how is this person going to react to it if I say this thing?
yeah, but let me tell you. But I mean, if that's the case, because what I'm saying is, like, there's nothing wrong. But nobody, I don't think people need to be asking permission to tell someone something nice about them. You know?
Yeah, but I mean, but listen, sometimes some people feel uncomfortable if they, you don't, I mean, listen, it's to each their own. If you want to ask somebody if it's okay to do something, like I think it's really sweet.
It's just like the on the
Like if someone were to be like ask to permission to like kiss me or something, there's something about that is like a little bit thoughtful and sweet.
that is something and sweet, and then that's also that's also like much more intimate. That means that's a physical
Sure.
intimacy in which like you know, and like we see this in movies and we see this in TV.
But I think,
Like I mean,
but
we
to
how many hold on, like how many times do people not love when like the guy just goes for the kiss, or like the girl just goes for the kiss, and like we're rooting for them, we're like yeah, and then like they get shut down and it's like oh no, but she was courageous enough to like make the move. What we're saying now is that like you couldn't even do that without running the risk of the person being like you don't want to get a Zari, but basically being like oh like I wasn't consenting to that person shooting their shot to give me a
well,
kiss.
and I mean, we do kind of live in a time
But
where,
that was a much more extreme scenario. I'm not trying to
right, but to go off of that, I do feel like we live in an era where intimacy has sort of been reduced to something like it's like something that we don't get a lot from, or the way that our perception of intimacy, I think
well
it
I
can,
mean
is warped, and I think
Yeah.
that is like with the presence of social media and like the internet and like our phones and like becoming a culture where we're a little bit more isolated and we're not around people a lot. Like I was having this
I don't
conversation.
know, and I like this conversation, and I want to hear your thoughts on this too, because like I
Well,
don't feel that way.
I was having this conversation last night with the person I was hanging out with about this specific thing, actually, which is kind of crazy.
Get on the Patreon because we'll be discussing
We'll
it.
be discussing, but I am a firm believer that I think if we used our phones less, like I do think, like, listen, I love having access to the
Dick.
internet. No, that too. But I love having access to the internet, and I think it's such an important tool, and I think we're living in an
Oh,
era.
there he goes.
No, but I think like we're living in a time where I think it's really useful because it allows us to see all of these things that are happening in the world as they're happening, versus like in the past, before we had the world at our fingertips, the information that was given to us was heavily filtered. A lot of it was, kind of organized, programmed for us to, propaganda to see things a certain way. And I think now we have a much more, I don't know. It's like we can look at it from different angles to get the full picture for things. And so I'm very grateful for that, allowing, for news just in general, about politics, about the different things that are going on in our communities, all that kind of fun stuff. At the same time, do I think it has made people antisocial and like less, in some regards, yes, in some communities for sure. But also I feel like I go out all the time and am like constantly wondering like, or worried about being recorded, or like the possibility of like being in the background of someone's video looking stupid. You know what I mean? Like,
And I walk around looking for my camera.
no, yeah. Well, and that's the thing. It's like you're operating. You're like,
Security
I'm filming
camera.
everything. And you're like, you're gonna be my. But like I having those conversations is like I think sometimes people do sort of censor themselves a lot more these days because there's always the opportunity that you are at some point being filmed, being watched, and it's going to be posted somewhere. People are going to talk about it, whether it's someone's TikTok, someone's Instagram post, someone's video on Twitter. Like there's so many different things that like you could become a viral moment like in the flip of a coin, you know? And so there are really great aspects of it, but at the same time I do think there are some things about it that I don't know. I don't know how it would change. I don't know what we would do to fix those things, like as a culture, as a society, or whatever. But I do think the internet has played like a major part in sort of this kind of individualistic idea of what life should be and like only focusing on yourself and like how your life looks to other people versus like actually being out in the world, like partaking in it.
Yeah, and I guess ultimately to move on from this topic that suddenly got serious,
Well, and that's the beauty of this
That's the beauty
podcast.
of this podcast. We
We
get
contain
serious.
multitudes.
and then
Thank
talk
you.
about loads, which we'll be talking about because I had a threesome unexpectedly.
And I got a load yesterday
Stay
too.
tuned. Oh my god. Yeah, well, both of us at the same time. I got first time this season. This happened.
Yeah.
So many firsts of this season. But to say that, putting it mildly, that like I'd send you a video because, you know, like I've been on a fitness journey on like really mindful eating and everything. And I've been really happy. I'm not just doing it to brag because I do want to show off my body and I'm getting ready for it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also made me feel a lot more connected to my body.
Yeah.
And it's made me feel better about myself. And it's a good journey I'm on. So it's not just like, like I'm starving, like I'm dying. Like, I don't feel that way. I feel very invigorated and motivated by it. But so I don't know how I was looking at I think I just needed some white noise to edit a video, and I put some Sex and the City on, and there was the one clip, just basically any conversation at the freaking diner where the girls meet with Samantha Jones, when she's just like, I think the maid stole my vibrator, or I think she's like all these things that she would
I'm
say.
dating a guy with the weirdest
tasting spunk. And like, see, that kind of, I relate to that in a sense that like I truly, and you know this, I really don't have a filter. It's really it's tough to filter myself.
Mm-hmm.
And so then I also come from a place of famously doubling down, because if I were ever to be in a scenario with my girlies who know me and know that I don't mean anything wrong by it, and then some bystander were to just like be a part of our conversation, and then I just like I remember New Year's Eve, we were all hanging out and pre-gaming at Thomas's, and at one point I was just like, oh yeah, I want to talk about that load that one guy gave me. And then of course like Alex was just like, oh my god, like everyone's giggling, and I'm like, I wasn't trying to be like titillating. I was just being me. Like I was like, oh yeah, like I want to share this with the girls. And so it just all tags along to like being like, okay, like, well, is someone gonna fucking stumble upon that in my friendships, or me with anybody? If anyone's gonna see me being bold with somebody or being whatever unfiltered, they're gonna be like, oh wow, like Peru needs to get canceled. I can't believe Peru was like talking about that in front of people who like look so uncomfortable or whatever. I'm like, okay, like, well, I don't know what to tell you. Does that make sense? Anyway.
No, I get what you mean. I feel like
yeah,
it's,
like
it's
because Samantha Jones exists in today's society without getting canceled, even like as a TV show.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's, I guess what the stuff that Samantha was talking about, it's always in reference to like her personal life, things that she went through.
Yeah.
And it was never at the expense of other people. It was talking about.
Yeah, she wasn't like well, I mean, sometimes she would just ask like the girls something about their sex lives, but then like it was all mutual agreement, you know.
Yeah.
It's all really about consent, honestly. But even then, I'll
But
continue
also
shooting
they were all like really close friends, and like they had like years of, you know, knowing each other, and they've built that. I think another thing is like
you earned that.
Yeah, I think.
Well, whatever.
And listen, that takes time. Some people take a while to kind of warm up and open and allow that sort of friendship or that openness to be able to talk about those things. And we've talked about this a million times on the pod. Like some people are very cagey when it comes to talking about sex and all that fun stuff. And so it's like, again, it's like sometimes you have to work for it in order to build that level of comfort with somebody. And some people are much more quick to delve into it like the two of us are. So it just depends.
Well, if I ever come across you online, because I've done this with people who are townspeople or who have listened to me in other like public forums, like the Michelle Collins podcast. I'm having dinner with tonight, but if somebody DMs me or like a fire or something or whatever, like, and I think you're hot, like I'm gonna fucking respond and be like, hey, what's up? Like, are you around? Like, I will send a nude and be like, hey, and I really hope that people are not misconstruing that with me being like, oh, he's like forcing himself on me. Like, if someone like is implying that they're finding me attractive by either reacting to like a photo in a certain way or like sliding into my DMs a certain way, like the way that I flirt back is just like, hey, like, here's a photo of me looking sexy, and like, what do you think? And like, I would say like most of the times it's well received, and there's never has not been well received. The only other times in which it wasn't fully reciprocated, it was in which the guy was just like, ooh, so cute, so sexy, and like never like continued the conversation, which I take as a clue, to be like, okay, cool.
Yeah, I mean, as long as like you're not continually hitting them up and
Yeah,
bothering them.
Yeah, no. But I mean, I definitely have asked, someone, I mean, like, hey, want to show me what you're doing, that kind of thing. And I'm like, okay, now am I not supposed to do that?
That's for you to decide, Mama.
I guess so.
You're living your own life. I can't live it for you.
Anyway, well, we're gonna dive into now our latest gigs, which have been. I have like one with a really interesting scenario that happened out of nowhere last night, but then you had one too.
Mine was a repeat. So.
Before we start, I want to talk about, we love it when you guys DM us. Thank you. We're always responding, aka we, the I guess operative we, and I love it when you'll please, it really does help us, but we love hearing from you guys what you're doing, how you're listening, where you're listening from. We got a DM from a townsperson, and we're gonna, I think it's safe to read this message just to like, I just thought it was really funny and silly, and like we always come from a place of love with our townspeople, but when I got this message, I was like, okay, wait, like we gotta address it as a town, because this is the town hall after all, so we have to talk about the town.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, the DM said, "Hi, this was yesterday. Hi divas, love the pod, but I do have a small gripe with the audio. Loving the new mics this season, but the overall volume level of the pod is low. If I'm listening on my phone, I have to crank it up to about 75% when my normal volume level is at 50%. Sending love for Boston. Thank you," and a blue heart. Hello, Boston. First of all,
shout out.
thank you for being here, townsperson from Boston. Now, when I read that, how did you read it?
I was just, I mean, I understood what they were saying, because like these mics just naturally are a little bit quieter. But I also was thinking to myself, well, I also was like, but God, what an improvement from last season.
Well, of course, last season was all like, oh my God, like sometimes like the sound is
It's
like
blowing my
it's
ears
growing
out.
my ears
Yeah.
out, and then also like the popping piece and like all those sounds that like, with the cheaper microphones it picks up, and we had no windscreens yet. But
And no tea, no shade. I was just like, just turn up your volume.
that's the thing. So my
love you down.
love you down. Like, so, and honestly, like, I mean, nobody will know this. Like, can I say there?
Just-
No, okay,
oh.
we're gonna have to leave that. Love you down, diva. So glad you're here. So glad you're here. But if the gripe is that you have to go from 50% volume level to 75, it sounds like the solution is in just turning it up 2 more notches. So I didn't really understand what the gripe. It sounded like, like privilege problems, which we can all have.
Mhm.
Obviously, we all pick our privilege problems in our daily lives. What makes us, what
And
grinds our gears.
when we're making trust, and when we're making enough money off the Patreon to hire a sound engineer, that will all get fixed.
Yes,
Trust.
but for now, it's just your lovely waggle leaders, divalicious divas here, doing it on their own.
We're independent artists.
Independent artists, literally any support, any subscribe, any like, any comment, anything, and with Patreon now, it's literally just the two of us.
Just, yes.
So,
Emphasis on just the two
This
of us.
is yes. So we should rename the title of the podcast to "Just the Two of Us."
No.
Just the two of us. We can make it if we try. We won't get taken down because that was a piss poor version of that. I don't think the.
I know. At first, I was like, "What are you singing?"
Oh my God, it's a good song. It's Bill Withers. But anyway, so while we heard your concern,
Shout out.
a shout out to your concern, and maybe other people on the town are also like, oh yeah, like I noticed that too. I want to address it just for the overall townspeople. If the gripe that you're having is that the volume is lower now, then just turn up the volume. I think that's an easy solution, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because it was the gripe wasn't I can turn it up more, because it's so low, even at the highest, like I can't listen to it. The gripe was like now you went from 50% to 75%, which I think you found your solution.
And listen, I love and support you wanting to protect your ears and your hearing ability.
Yeah, I would hope you're getting freaking what's it called, earplugs for the club.
Oh, I forget that people do that.
And you know who does that? Town council of founding member John.
Oh,
John. I see him every time we go to like a big, busy, crowded bar,
Good
gay
for
bar.
him.
He puts them on, and I'm like, girl, I could never. Because talk about disassociating. Just the physical act of having the earplug in my ear would make me feel like I'm not in the space. Anyway, are you bored enough?
No, sorry.
Want to talk to me about your boring ass gig yesterday? Please go ahead.
Actually, it wasn't boring. It was good. It was a repeat offender.
Yeah. Or what did we call him?
Well, I'm not gonna name him because he doesn't want me to talk about it. I mean,
I think that's fair.
True. I mean, he's a repeat from last season. If you'll remember, I've known him for like a year now. He's partnered, and I went over. He hit me up. And I haven't seen him in a couple of months. Like I haven't seen him since like before the summer. Because when we were hooking up, he was like, "Is that a new tattoo?" And I looked it down, and I only have one tattoo, and I got it in July. And I was like, "Oh yeah." I was like, "I guess I haven't seen him for that long."
Rest in peace, grandma.
Yes,
Miss her and love her down.
Yes, love. And so no, it was fine, and it was good. I like went over. I like douched beforehand because I wasn't sure if we were gonna have sex. I think he wanted to have sex, but what happened? What happened was
You actually haven't told me this. I'm excited.
So yeah, so like I get there. I like hooking up with him. He's very into like. He's a pleasure dom. Like he likes to like
Making sure you're like.
make sure that I get off and
Does
like.
that feel good, baby? Do you like that, baby?
Yeah, but he really likes like edging. So he like spent a really long time edging me. But when I got there, like he remained like fully clothed, and like I was like naked, and we eventually like made it to his bedroom, and I was on the bed and whatever. And he kept getting to me to the point where I was like gonna come, and I kept being like, oh, I'm like really close. You have to stop. And he's like, no, I don't want you to come yet. And I'm like, okay, great. Then like we need to like slow it down. Like I was like, cool, great, okay, cool. And so then there'd be a couple of times where like I'd like go for his like shorts and because he was like or like his pants and like to unbutton them and like pull his dick out because he's got a huge cock, and he kept being like, who said that you could go there yet? Who said you could touch that yet? And I'd be like, okay, fine, I'll be patient, sure. Next thing I know, he's like jerking me off, and I was like, "Oh, I'm like really close, like I'm gonna come." And he goes, "No, you're not gonna come." And I went, "No, I'm coming."
Oh!
And I like came, and I came really hard because like this was the first hookup that I've had in like 2 months now. And it was, and so
Was he pissed?
No, he wasn't pissed. I mean, he's always like very sweet and very nice when we're hooking up and stuff. Like he always just like wants to make sure that like I'm having a good time.
Mm-hmm.
And so then he was like we're gonna get another load out of you or whatever. And I was like, and at that point I was like, yeah, you will. Even though
But
I
you
was
were
like,
already like, okay.
I was also like, probably not. But I was like, we'll try.
Yeah, because you famously also said that like you're pretty much like with one you're like you don't really do multiple times.
No, like if I'm gonna do multiple, it's like we have to like stop what we're doing, recharge,
Have lunch,
like
have a muffin,
snuggle in bed, like take a little nap, and then go back and do another round. But anyway, the thing was, you're gonna laugh.
Oh,
So
God.
so once I came, like unfortunately, like once I'm like get my nut, it's like I'm kind of like I'm done and over it, and like I'm like okay, you like let's get you off and like call it.
Same. I've been trying to practice being more like present also when they're not, but girl.
Well, and the thing is like I still remain present, and like I wanted him to get off, and so I was like, and obviously like I got there earlier than we initially planned because he was like, well, why not? He's like, come over whenever I'm working from home today, like come because I went before work, and he wanted.
This is townspeople before work. This is like
Yeah.
2 p.m., 1 p.m.
I got there at like 1:15, honestly.
Oh wow, it was early.
Well, because initially we planned it for 2, and I was gonna like stay till for like an hour and then leave at like 3 or whatever. But then he was like, "Come early if you can." And I was like in the neighborhood, I was running errands and stuff, and so I like finished what I was doing, and so I was like, "Okay, yeah, I can come over." So we had a lot of time still. So I was like, I can't be like, well, I gotta get going. So I was like, I want him to get off too. And so I was like, he doesn't really like it when I jerk him off. Like he's very particular. Like he jerks himself off for the most part. I think it's because like to get himself to like come, like he has to like do it himself. I don't know.
Yeah, but I mean, we all have our own rhythms. You know, it's different. It feels different.
So like I was like licking his balls, sucking them, and then all of a sudden I was like licking the gooch. And then all of a sudden he's like lifting his like body, like his like torso up, and I was like, oh, what's he doing? He's like shoving his ass in my face. And I was like, oh, I have never eaten this man's ass before. I've hooked up with him.
Talk about Sex and the City reference.
No, it literally,
Where, like,
I felt like, but when he did it, I felt like Miranda in that one episode. I was like, oh, now, mind you, I'm not a huge ass. I'm actually not an ass eater. I'm like literally, well, because first of all, that has never been on the menu with him before. He has never had me. There was one time where like, I thought that maybe he was going to try to have me top him, but then I like asked, I was like, you've never bought him before, right? And he was like, no. And I was like, okay. I was like, would you ever? And he went, oh, absolutely not. He's like, I don't like anything in my butt. So that I was like, he's strict top, butt off limits. Like I thought that was what it was. So then all of a sudden it's like holes in my face, and then he's like, yeah, that feels so good. Like keep doing that. And I was like, okay. And he's like, yeah, go deep. I was like, oh my god.
Wait, so you were like,
I ate his ass girl for like 10 minutes. And then like we kept taking.
Was it hairy? I'm sure it was hairy.
Yeah, it was hairy.
Was it clean?
It got clean. No, he took a shower. He took a shower before. He told me he took a shower. But like, it wasn't like he douched. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, but still, like, I hope he has some dude wipes.
No, but he's got a nice shower, so like, you know, he was very clean. But but listen, like he was really turned on by it, and I was like, listen,
working. Yeah.
I was like, I want him to like have a good time or whatever, and so he was really
I want him to have a good time.
And I was like, listen, he did such a good job. He like made me like nut so fast. So I was like, you know what, I will return the favor.
Gotta pay it forward.
So then he then was really into me like worshiping his legs and like his feet, and so then he was like shoving his toes in my mouth, which like I can get into. And then eventually I'm like, okay, girl, like, is he gonna come? Like, what time is it? I was like, I've been here for so long. Like, we're still going. And he, like, doesn't seem like he's anywhere near finishing. And then eventually he's like, let's get you hard again. Mind you, I'm soft as hell. Like, it's shriveled up. Like, it's a raisin. And then he's like, tries to get me. And mind you, I have to piss. Like, I had to pee before I got there. And like,
bad move, girl. You should have peed.
I drank a big Diet Coke before I got there with my lunch. And so I was gonna piss when I got there. But as soon as I walked in the door, he's like making out with me, throwing me against the wall, like taking my clothes off. So I'm like, okay, guys, we're just gonna do this, and then I'll piss after. But then he like trying to get me to go again, and I'm like, oh girl, I just have to like pee. And I like got like semi hard, and then he kept jerking me off for a really long time. And then he was like, do you think you'll get another load out? And I was like, no. And he was like, okay. And he's like, do you want me to come? And I was like, yeah. And
you're like, yeah.
And then he was like, he kept saying to me,
his butt is in your face still.
No,
you're like, yeah.
I've never swallowed his load before or like whatever.
No.
And he was like, or like we've never also whenever we have sex, because he's like he's a partner, so I'm assuming like he obviously like he does everything with like condoms and stuff like when he's not fucking his partner. But like,
we do the heat last time.
Huh?
Have you guys ever fucked?
Yeah, we fucked a lot.
Yeah, but did he use a condom?
Always.
Oh.
We've always. But he's never been like, oh, I want you to like swallow my load. He's never been like that before. And so then he was like, you want to you want to like leave here with my babies in your stomach? And I was like, oh, I was like, yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
But that was like early on in the gig when we were both like really horny. And so then when he was like coming, he's like, well, where do you want me to come? And I was like, oh, well, come on me. And then he was like, well, can I come in your mouth? And I was like, oh, yeah, sure. And so then he like came really, really hard. And then like I only like swallowed like half of it because then he like made me like take my mouth off because like the orgasm was too intense. Like he was like, oh, he's like, I gotta. And
you're like,
and I was like, oh, hold on. I'm trying to like wipe my mouth. But that was good. And then.
No, I'm like it when it's messy. And I was like, wow.
Oh, I mean, yeah, like there was still there was remnants on the penis when we were done. But then he was like, okay, like let me get a towel and stuff. So then like we wiped up and stuff, and then I took a shower, and then I got ready to go, and then we said goodbye, and then I said thanks for having me over, and he said yeah, he said the phone works both ways, and I went, oh, that's tea, that is tea, and then I went to work.
I mean, did you feel like he was frustrated at all from like not
No,
going all the way? Or
Oh no. He like pulled out a condom like pretty early on when we first started, but then like
you were like psycho.
but then after I came, like I was like down to fuck before I came, but then once I came, I was like, I really don't.
At this one, we can start now.
I was like, I'm not really in the mood to bottom because like I feel like I'm not gonna get anything out of it because I already finished, and then I was also like, also he likes long sessions. Like the last time that I fucked, I like went over after work one night and I was there for like 2 hours.
That's
and
too
he was
long.
like he was laying it out. And like cuz he's the kind of person that it takes a really long time for him to finish, which I like. Like I prefer that versus like somebody who comes too quickly because like sometimes if they come too quickly then I sometimes feel like I'm not getting my money's worth out of the situation.
Yeah, but then you can always finish yourself off, you know.
But most of the time when they like come really fast, they don't ever try to get me off. Like DL Trade.
I don't mind that.
DL Trade. Oh my god,
one of the fucking red flags he had.
Well, one of the red flags. But after like he only tried to get me off. He actually never tried to get me off. Like every time we'd have sex, he'd like come pretty quick. Like he'd finish pretty quickly, and then like I'd have to jerk myself off, and then sometimes like I wouldn't even like I start jerking myself off trying to get myself to come up like to finish, and like I could tell that he was just like, come on, let's get it over with.
Yeah.
And then I'd be like, oh well, no, I'm not gonna finish because like you don't care.
Not a two-way street with the L trade, in many ways.
Yeah, and I've seen him on the grid. I said in the last episode, and I saw him on.
Oh, I saw her. Remember in person, live.
And I got those sex flashbacks, and I went, "Oh, that dick was good."
No, it's not worth it, girl.
No, it's not. It's not worth it. And I
You got people that at least want to, take care of you, like the
no,
architect
totally.
guy.
And I listen, and it was a lovely. Thank you so much if you're listening. Thank you so much for that. I had a lovely.
Oh, they're a townsperson?
Well, he listened a couple of times when we first started hooking up, and then he was like, "I don't want you to talk about me anymore," and I was like, "Okay, T."
Okay, T. Well, still no one knows who the flip you are.
Well, yeah. Well, listen, whatever. But no, it was good, and I was talking about this with somebody at work yesterday, where I feel like my life is very balanced. Like I feel like my personal life, work, creative, sexual, and like romantic life is pretty much like all evenly balanced in like a way that like I feel very comfortable with. So like, you know, I got my nut, and I'm good now. And I haven't thought about sex, and I haven't opened up the apps in like a full day.
Girl, well, I'm insatiable lately. I just cannot stop. And again, I don't feel any sort of way about it. You know, like I just talked to you about maybe it's also a matter of like me really being into my body lately, but it's like I don't feel like I'm using it to like not think of anything else. I told you I've been very productive about getting stuff done, you know, to look for potential things to do and like openings and like things. So like it's not, I mean, I've been feeling pretty satisfied with where my head is at, and like my head is in the game. But I think at the same time, I feel like my head is in that game. Like I just want to like taste it all.
Wait, so you had a three-way?
So
what happened to I Love You Guy? Why did that not happen?
So I Love You Guy, that he was too exhausted, which was like, okay, like I spent I came into our establishment place of work, and I was ready to go, and I was like, you know, since famously to those who have been, if you're new here, hi, new townsperson, I Love You Guy is a very famous character here on the pod, from a bunch of episodes ago.
And actually kind of recent.
And recent too, from I think the first episode of the season premiere. We do. Yeah.
Yes, do.
If you want to listen to it, episode 55. Anyway, so I was like, okay, I'm too proud. I have to come back with a vengeance. And I was like, you know, scheduling something. And for all intents and purposes, like, I Love You Guy is very lovely. So he was like, never judged for anything, and I was like, hey, and I was like, I need to come back. I need to do this right. I need to do what you get. So we had been talking on Miss Sniffs, and then I was like, okay, like either before work or after, and he was like, sure, I should be around. I'm pretty free lately, or like I'm working from New York for the next few days. Longest story short, like I was at work. I took my Imodium at work. I had a very clean diet yesterday, just very much making sure that everything's good to go. Even like did it in an upstairs private restroom, a little quick, just making sure, a little pump.
I can't believe you did it in there.
Always, girls. I'm like, okay, I want to make sure, and I was like, perfect, and I was like, just so you know, I'm like 1,000% ready for you. Like I am so ready. He was too tired. From the moment that I was already wrapping up at work, he was like, I think I'm too tired, so let me know when you're done. So once that occurred, I don't know how y'all feel, other bottom townspeople, because when I get ready and a gig cancels last minute, I'm like,
wave of relief.
For you.
Yeah.
Oh, for me, it's like, no way. So now at that point, I was a rabid dog. Just like literally standing outside of the train station, just waiting for, I'm like, so there needs to be something wrong. So I was already home and I was already kind of like winding down. And then this guy, we'll call him Puerto Rican guy because he is.
Okay, sure.
And mind you, his name on his profile has a Puerto Rican flag on it and looking. So it's fair to say that he is very proud to be Puerto Rican. So we had talked.
Sniffies or grinder?
Grinder. We have talked before, and I actually have him here if you want to see him.
I do.
So I'm back to showing you stuff. You've earned it.
I don't know what I did to not earn it for a week, but okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He looks. You said that vibe was weird.
No. Well, the thing is, like, listen, he just looks like a just regular, really attractive, nice body, Puerto Rican.
There's something like about him that seems a little bit
facade, like very much like
he's like putting it on like the mask a little too hard.
Well, I mean, they all do. Like, so all his photos are in gym, shirtless, showing his six pack, like all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but I feel like I don't know. There's something there. There's something behind the eyes.
And so he hits me up, and we've had plenty of instances with this specific guy where like he was riling me up and then bailed last minute. So I was like, girl, he's gonna probably bail. It was already like almost 1 a.m.
Oh my god.
And I was like, okay, well, because I was finishing.
I was still out then.
Yeah, because then you texted me. So I was like, okay, well, let's see if Puerto Rican guy pulls through now. And then this other guy that I was also trying to make it out with was like, hey, I'm around, whatever. Then Puerto Rican guy DMs me like, hey, that guy you're DMing, I'm with him. And I was like, wait, what? So they had talked to each other about meeting up.
Was the other guy, were they both tops?
We'll call the other guy Chilean guy because he's from Chile. And this is him. Wait, so on my grinder on my stars is everyone that I fucked with and I liked. So I have him here. This is him.
Oh wait, do you have more pictures?
Yes. Oh, I'll show you after. But so because we're running out of time. But he was like, hey, like we had been chatting about getting together because Chilean guy is famously a true verse. So when I was talking to him, he was telling me, like, to be honest, I don't know if I want a bottom or if I want a top. Like, I'm still trying to figure out what my vibe is. And I was like, well, here's my butthole if you want it. And then Puerto Rican guy was just like, hey, that guy you're talking to, like, we both have been talking. So can I bring him over? And then I was like, wait, like, is he not good? So then I was like, what is happening? I was like, both stopped responding to me up for 20 minutes. And I was like, girl, they're just fucking like joshing me. They're just like playing me around. I'm not here for this. So at one point I was just like, sure, LOL, because I had taken forever. And me being like, hey, ETA, like, well, you know.
Did they come here?
20 minutes passed by of me not hear anything about them and being like, you know what, have fun, whatever, forget it. Then they're like, we're 1 block away. I was like, what? They're both there. They come here, and I literally was thinking this wasn't gonna happen. I was already thinking they.
Oh, I didn't realize that they came to you.
Oh, I was like, because they already took like 20, almost 30 minutes for them to respond from the last message, being like, "Hey, let me know when you're heading out." Hadn't heard anything, so I was just like, they're just playing me around, you know? They're just telling me, they're just like fooling around, whatever. They're not gonna come. Oh, they're like, "Hey, we're at the bar." And I was like, you what? Like, I haven't heard from you in like 30 minutes. Like, you give me a heads up. Like, well, we're here. And I was like, okay, well, I guess I'm going to go down. I guess we're here. So I go down. Puerto Rican guy is like, he's like, sorry, I was busy packing because I'm going to Puerto Rico tomorrow. Shows up, and I don't know if you had already been out or if he was home, but I think they both met while they were out, because Puerto Rican guy shows up with like his Pitbull sunglasses, dressed up in like a going out kind of outfit with like a going out bag, not a Telfar bag, but it was like almost like a gym bag, but it's like leather. It was like a carry on.
Okay.
And I was like, why is he bringing a whole carry on to the gig?
He's leaving your gig. He's leaving the gig.
And I was like, what's happening? And then the other guys just showed up, and they're both really handsome. Get here.
Were they
I was
nice?
like,
Were
okay,
they interesting?
yeah, the Puerto Rican guy definitely was much more like flamboyant than his photos appear. So
That
clearly he was
tracks. That
laying out the
tracks.
mask, super mask. His voice was really like deep and still like, so his physique and his facade was still pretty much masculine. But then like his demeanor was very much like, okay, I sorry, just left this thing, and I was like, oh, okay. And then the Chilean guy was just very much like more like a much more shy, you know, and
Mhm.
much it had a really thick accent, and I was like, "Where are you from?" I didn't clock that he was from Chile until he talked, and I was like, "Where are you from?" Because you ain't from America.
And you can say
I
that.
can say that. So nothing. There's two things that occurred. So we're all kind of fooling around, and I thought both of them were gonna top me. It was quick. It was very quick that I realized that it was gonna be a whole like flip scenario.
Oh yeah. So
That
like.
so like Chilean guy wanted to get fucked by Puerto Rican guy, and then Puerto Rican guy was like verse top, but Chilean guy wanted to fuck him. So then so Puerto Rican guy had also prepped the bottom, even though he doesn't do it often, but he had prepped, and I was the only true bottom in this scenario. But then like there were moments in which like they were both taking turns, but like one of them would like fuck me, and then they would fuck each other. Does that make sense?
And then what would you do? Just watch?
I would just be like like in those porns that you see where like you're the third who's just the only bottom, and then the other two are trading around.
Uh huh.
Like so, like one of them would just like start fucking me, and then they would just trade with each other who gets their each other's dicks, and it was like and mind you, like Puerto Rican guy's dick was nice, Chilean guy's dick was okay, and at that point I was just like already here, like the vibes were like okay, like it felt very much like. They both kept trying to figure out who was gonna be doing the fucking and who was gonna be, and then I was just like, okay, like I'm just here getting fucked while you two figure out who wants to get. Like, it was just the vibes were just kind of off.
Okay.
And so like at one point I was just like they were doing their thing with me, and then I was just like I'm just kind of over this. Like I'm just like basically just like being a receptacle here, and like they're both trying to figure out who wants to top more, who wants the bottom more, and I'm like you guys. And so at one point I was like I even lost my heart on because I was like I just want to get this over with, So I'm like, hey guys, come on, yeah, I want to fucking.
What time do they leave?
So wait, so it's like 30 minutes in, then Chilean guy starts losing his heart on. So then Puerto Rican guy is like, and Puerto Rican guy has like a really piss poor Spanish, but he keeps trying to talk Spanish to him, and I'm like, Chilean guy is he's fluent. You don't need to speak Spanish to him, but he just kept trying to speak Spanish. I could gather that Puerto Rican guy was kind of drunk. He was just like, and I was like, okay, like why do you keep talking in Spanish? If clearly you're not good at it, but he just kept trying to. So then he's like, do you want to take Cialis? Puerto Rican guy goes to his bag and literally
Pulls it out.
fetches out Viagra pills
Work.
for both of them to take so they can like
Fuck each other.
finish. And I'm like, at first I was like, oh my God, please don't let it be like some T or G situation, because then I would really lose my brain. But it was just like this bag. So they both take Viagra. And I was like, oh, they were like, are you good? And meanwhile, I'm like rock hard again. I was like, yeah, I don't need any of that. Like, I'm good. Really lackluster sex that we had while they were hard again. I couldn't come. So then Chilean guy starts fucking Puerto Rican guy, and so we're doing a train. Like I'm at the very bottom, Puerto Rican guy's
Fucking
fucking
you,
me,
and then
and then
Chilean
Chilean
guy's
guy's
coming
fucking
in.
Puerto Rican guy. And you can tell Puerto Rican guy doesn't. He's like, and even though Chilean guy wasn't really that big, like, but he was just like, and then you could tell that he was really into it, and Chilean guy was really into it. So he was just like, okay, yeah. And I'm just like, all right, come on, get it over with, guys.
Oh, you were in the start of the show.
I wasn't starting the show.
No.
But
sad.
But then I was like, oh, when Chilean guy came, and then Puerto Rican guy he just kept fucking me then. And he was hard, but he wasn't getting ready to come. So I was so over it, just wanted to get the gig finished, that when Puerto Rican guy got Chilean guy's load, I was like, you can stop fucking me. I'm gonna fuck you.
Wait, you topped him?
Because I was like, because I was like, I wanna, because at that point, like, it wasn't like the sexy threesome I wanted to have. It was just like kind of like awkward and like position, but I was like, but I want to come. Like, I want to satisfy myself. So then Puerto Rican guy was like, hey, do you want me to come in you? And I was like, no, I'm gonna fuck you. And he was like, oh, fuck yeah. So he had been wanting to bottom, I guess.
Oh, it's always those ones that are like, I'm a top that are like the biggest fucking bottoms.
When I tell you, I don't know what came over me. I
was it good?
possessed by
Did
this
you enjoy?
Chilean guy? At that point, of course, like, because you know how to turn attention on me. If I'm gonna do something,
Yeah,
I want to put the
pull focus.
spotlight, pull focus. Oh, I became the star of the last 10 minutes of that fucking threesome, because then I was just like, fucking face down,
Doggy?
ass up. Oh yeah, and I was like, let
Ew.
me. I was just possessed with the idea of just like, fuck it. And then Chilean guy was just like, whoa. And then he was just like, and so he was just like so into it. Puerto Rican guy's like loving it. And I'm just like, all right, let's fucking do this. And so I put on a show for a good 10 minutes. In my head, I was just like, oh my God. At one point, like, I couldn't really find, he has a really nice ass. And I was like, oh, okay. And at one point, I was like, okay, like, I just want to pretend like I know what I'm doing. And then I had a couple instances in which I was like trying to figure out like because he's bigger and I'm smaller, so like the whole I guess shout out to Tops for knowing how to figure out like the positioning to make sure like you have good thrusting motions.
Ew.
I know, and then oh honey, I let it out. They were loving it, and I was.
So did the Puerto Rican man finish? Did he like finish while you were fucking him or what?
Oh, I filled him up, and then he came.
Ew, not you filling him up. That is so gross. Ew.
But it was out of necessity. Topping out of necessity type of app.
I've only ever topped the one time, Mama, and I can't imagine.
Because I knew that Puerto Rican guy wasn't going to make me come. I didn't feel like jerking off to just get me there.
See,
Chilean guy had already finished. So I was like, no one's going to do this for me but me.
See, if I was in that position, I would have just been like, okay, we're going to call it. They'll leave. I'll just jerk myself off when I'm alone and call it a night and go to bed.
Mm-mm. So there you have
well,
it.
Happy for my sister.
I topped.
Good for you. When
And you know what?
Wasn't the last time that you did it like Provincetown?
Yeah. Once again, my annual topping trip at P-Town.
That's crazy.
But I'm going to say, I liked it.
She a verse now?
No.
Oh, okay.
No,
Verse bottom.
Because it was just out of necessity. Verse bottom probably when it needs to happen that way. Like I'm fine doing it, but it felt good obviously because it just it feels good. But I can't picture myself doing that for like a full gig. It's just something that I would do like to like spice things up, maybe with somebody who needs to do some flipping, but it's not, and it's not what I really cherish on doing. And I found my like good like sub bottom footing again earlier before you came in here because this guy came over and he had a massive like
repeat
8.5 new, and girly he laid it out, and that's what I forgot because he wanted to use a condom because he's married.
Oh.
And I was like, great.
On
thanks.
Valentine's Day, he's fucking somebody else.
Right.
Married and he's not fucking his man. Girl, these men ain't shit.
But
these men ain't shit.
Oh, and he like lit, but he was big.
And he probably didn't tell his husband.
He said the rule is like if you don't ask, don't tell. Mm-hmm.
On Valentine's.
On Valentine's.
Day. He's taking that husband out for dinner tonight.
Oh, he said they're going to Death Becomes Her and dinner.
I hate gay people. I hate them.
But guess what? Happy Valentine's to me because he fuck. Oh, and at one point I was like, I'm so sorry. I was giving porn star bottoming today because it was so big, and I was like, I'm really lately, you're really having. Are you okay?
I'm having a moment. No, I'm like, oh my god,
salt?
may that love never find me.
But I mean, if it works for them, Diva.
I mean, I guess, but like, if I was a husband and was like, oh, my husband fucked some other bottom on Valentine's Day of all days.
I didn't even think of that.
The one day that you have to just fuck me. Like, may that love never find me. May that love never find me.
Anyway, we're going to move on to the Patreon portion of the episode. We appreciate everyone who has in there as a town council assembly member or trust and believer. Shout out to all of y'all. Feel free to join us. We're doing a lot of stuff. We dropped our BDSM test as our first bonus episode of the month. That's dropping either tonight or tomorrow morning. Sorry for the delay. But it was really fun. We're really
Well, by
spilling the tea.
the time that you listen, it'll be out.
Oh, it's already out. So if you
Yeah.
want to get more of us, please, what can they do, Nick?
You can subscribe to the Patreon link in the bio. We have 2 different tiers. We have town council members, or we have trust and believers. You get an additional town council assembly episode each week on top of every full episode that you just normally get if you subscribe to us on YouTube, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. And if you're a trust and believer, you get all of that. Plus additional supplies, which are posts that are just following us for our normal day-to-day things, what we're up to, just to keep you guys in the loop, as well as an additional full episode at the end of each month, which you guys can vote on what that video includes. Like Prue said, the episode that we did for this month is us talking about our BDSM test results, and it's really juicy, so stay tuned.
Yes, let's shout out one of our from submissions from the Google forum. I've just because we're gonna go through one of the advice questions that we got, but a shout out that we have here is for a 23-year-old male from Texas. We have a lot of Texas town council members. I love.
Yes,
Maybe we
word.
should go to Texas this year at some point.
The
I
dick
think.
is good in Houston.
Oh, girl, Houston. Oh, I know because
Okay.
they're all my brown sisters, and we're
Well,
all competing against each other.
Oh, I've had so many men who have visited the city from Houston that have laid it out like for me.
I know Texas. Everything is bigger in Texas. Shout out to Finance Twink, 23-year-old male from Texas. Thank you so much for being
Shout
a diva.
out.
And had a suggestion. I think y'all should change things up for a Patreon video. Try something new, like play a fun card game. Play Never Have I Ever. Play a drinking game. Flirt with an AI character. Something stupid and fun. Watch TikToks, Reels, cook a meal. Okay, so they're wanting to watch us do different things.
They
People
want
really
us to
loved
vlog.
the
They
little
want us
vlog that we did. People loved that vlog that we did. The mini
Yeah.
vlog. But I love that idea of a drinking game too. That could be really fun. Maybe involve some of our town council founding members who wouldn't mind being behind the paywall.
Oh,
That could be fun. We're talking to you guys,
Shout-
Robert, Alex. We're talking to you, John. Anyway, but you can follow me at Hey Peru on Instagram, the only platform I'm using right now. Please come support. I'm doing some fun new content, trying something new for this villain era that I'm on, so you can find me there.
You can find me on nicholas.rose on Instagram, clownfacebinch on TikTok, and clownfacebitch on Twitter. And you can follow the pod on Pioneers and Trailblazers on Instagram. Subscribe to us on YouTube if you haven't already.
Please, we're almost
do.
at 1,000. Please, that will help us do some other stuff. Same with Spotify. No, we're at 1,000 on Spotify, so thank you to all of you
we
guys
hit
for
1,000
that.
on Spotify. So
If you listen on Apple Podcasts, bitch, you better trust and believe. You run there right now and leave us a review.
And then also, don't forget, subscribe to the Patreon if you want to get that additional content each month. Love you all, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.